Hey, everyone, it's Jeff. Today, we're diving into a critical issue. Why does the United States have one of the highest depression rates in the world? And what can we do to fix this? We often hear about the American dream, but somewhere along the way, that dream seems to be intertwined with a silent epidemic of mental health struggles. It's like we're all trying to climb the same ladder, but many of us are doing it with a broken rung or two. So over the next few chapters, we're going to unpack some of the systemic factors that contribute to this issue and look for solutions.
Let's be real. The pressure to succeed in the United States is immense, and for many, it's directly tied to income. When you're constantly worried about making rent, affording healthcare, or even just putting food on the table, that stress takes a toll. Imagine living paycheck to paycheck, knowing that one unexpected expense could send you spiraling into debt. That constant fear, that lack of financial security, it wears you down. It can make you feel hopeless, trapped, like you're drowning and there's no one to throw you a lifeline. The lack of affordable healthcare is a huge factor here. Mental health care is often seen as a luxury, something you can only afford if you're already doing well financially. Income inequality creates a system where those at the bottom are disproportionately affected by mental health issues, and they often lack the resources to seek help.
We live in a culture that glorifies the hustle, the constant grind. We're told to work harder, be more productive, and strive for success, often at the expense of our well-being. Individualism, while often touted as a strength, can also lead to feelings of isolation. We're constantly comparing ourselves to others, measuring our worth by our achievements rather than our inherent value as human beings. This pressure cooker environment takes its toll. We're pushing ourselves to the limit, neglecting sleep, relationships, and our own mental health in pursuit of an often elusive definition of success. It's a vicious cycle that needs to be addressed.
Let's talk about work-life balance, or rather, the lack thereof. The United States is notorious for its limited vacation time and weak labor protections. Many people are stuck in jobs they hate, working long hours just to make ends meet. When you're constantly tethered to your job, unable to truly disconnect and recharge, it takes a toll on your mental health. The boundaries between work and personal life become blurred, and it feels like you're always on. This constant stress can lead to burnout, anxiety, and depression. We need to start prioritizing our well-being and recognizing that rest and relaxation aren't luxuries. They're essential for a healthy and fulfilling life.
We might be the most technologically connected generation in history, yet rates of loneliness and social isolation are on the rise. How can this be? Think about the way we live. Suburban sprawl, long commutes, and the decline of community spaces have all contributed to a sense of disconnection. We're less likely to know our neighbors, less likely to engage in face-to-face interactions. Add to that the breakdown of traditional family structures, with more people living far from extended family, and you have a recipe for social isolation. This lack of connection is incredibly damaging to our mental health. We're social creatures by nature, wired for connection and belonging. When those needs aren't met, we suffer.
Even when we recognize we need help, accessing mental health services can feel like navigating a minefield. Cost is a major barrier, with therapy and medication often being prohibitively expensive for many. Insurance coverage for mental health is often inadequate, leaving people with high out-of-pocket costs or limited treatment options. And even when affordable care is available, the stigma surrounding mental health can prevent people from seeking help. We need to start treating mental health with the same urgency and importance as physical health. That means expanding access to affordable, quality care and dismantling the stigma that prevents people from getting the help they need. It's time to normalize conversations about mental health and create a culture where seeking help is seen as a sign of strength, not weakness.
It's not just our personal lives that are contributing to high rates of depression. We live in a world saturated with stress, from political polarization to gun violence to the constant barrage of negative news. It's like we're living in a pressure cooker, constantly bombarded with information and events that trigger our anxiety and sense of helplessness. Social media, while connecting us in some ways, can also exacerbate these feelings. We're constantly exposed to curated versions of other people's lives, which can fuel feelings of inadequacy and social comparison. It's no wonder so many people are struggling to cope. We need to find ways to manage this constant influx of stress and prioritize our mental well-being.
Our culture often equates success and happiness with material possessions. We're bombarded with advertising that tells us we need the latest gadgets, the biggest houses, the most stylish clothes to be happy. This relentless pursuit of more can lead to a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction. We're constantly striving for the next thing, never truly content with what we have. This materialistic mindset can contribute to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and depression. True happiness comes from connection, purpose, and meaning, not from the accumulation of possessions.
Unlike many other developed countries, the U.S. lacks a comprehensive social safety net. This means that when people fall on hard times, they often have very little to fall back on. Limited access to affordable housing, healthcare, and childcare creates immense stress and insecurity. It can make it nearly impossible to get back on your feet after a setback, leaving people feeling trapped and hopeless. We need to invest in social programs that provide a safety net for those in need. This isn't just about compassion. It's about creating a more stable and equitable society for everyone. A robust safety net can alleviate some of the mental health burdens caused by financial stress.
Our modern lifestyles, characterized by sedentary jobs and increased screen time, are taking a toll on both our physical and mental health. We're spending hours hunched over desks, staring at screens, and neglecting our bodies. This lack of physical activity has been linked to increased rates of depression and anxiety. We need to make a conscious effort to incorporate more movement into our daily lives, whether it's going for a walk, taking a yoga class, or just standing up and stretching every hour.
Substance abuse and mental health issues often go hand in hand. People struggling with depression or anxiety may turn to drugs or alcohol as a way to self-medicate and numb their pain. However, substance abuse only exacerbates mental health issues in the long run. We need to address the root causes of substance abuse, such as trauma, poverty, and lack of access to mental health care.
Social media can be a powerful tool for connection, but it also has a dark side. Studies have shown a strong correlation between heavy social media use and increased rates of depression, anxiety, and loneliness, particularly among young people. The constant comparison, the pressure to present a perfect online persona, and the fear of missing out can all take a toll on our mental well-being. We need to be mindful of our social media consumption and set healthy boundaries to protect our mental health.
Our childhood experiences, particularly adverse ones, can have a profound impact on our mental health throughout our lives. Trauma, abuse, neglect, and other forms of childhood adversity can disrupt brain development and increase the risk of developing mental health issues later in life. These early experiences can shape our beliefs about ourselves, our relationships, and the world around us. We need to prioritize early intervention and support for children who have experienced adversity.
Systemic racism, gender discrimination, and other forms of social inequality contribute to a climate of chronic stress and trauma, particularly for marginalized communities. The daily experience of microaggressions, discrimination, and prejudice takes a toll on mental health. We need to dismantle systemic barriers that perpetuate inequality and create a more just and equitable society for all.
Climate change isn't just an environmental crisis, it's a mental health crisis. Extreme weather events, natural disasters, and the gradual degradation of our planet are taking a toll on our collective mental well-being. The uncertainty, the fear, the grief over the loss of familiar landscapes, these are all valid emotional responses to the climate crisis. Taking action, even small steps, can give us a sense of agency and hope in the face of this global challenge.
Understanding these factors is the first step towards addressing the high depression rates in the United States. By tackling these issues collectively, we can work towards a healthier, more supportive society. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content.